So nice to be here with you today, Steve. So it's Steve Bella at Silent Yachts.
That's correct.
Yeah,
Nice to be here too.
Yeah, I bet you it was a beautiful sight coming into Falmouth Harbour, English Harbour.
It's always good seeing land after 5 weeks at sea.
5 weeks is a long, long time. So you're here with a crew of 5?
Yeah, four more. So me as the captain, Jay as the owner of the yacht, Randy, Jay's good friend, Will, who's the normal captain on this yacht, and Michael, who is an engineer and a friend of ours.
Yeah, so it sounds like you've got a good crew together. So I'm so inspired by the whole trip and the boat itself. So it's a solar powered yacht. Can you tell me a bit about the boat and what it does?
Yeah, so we are solar electric from the ground up.
Incredible.
So it's built and designed as a solar electric yacht. So it runs off electric motors, off a huge battery bank down the centre of the yacht,
Wow.
and charged by solar panels. Now, we have a limited space on board for solar panels. If you look on the roof, it's completely covered in solar panels. But that solar panels, we rely on the sun.
Yeah, which is in abundance
it's
now.
It's perfect today, but of course it does rain and it's cloudy. So to come across the Atlantic, and we're running 24/7, so we don't stop. We also have the ability, we have a diesel generator on board because the solar panels cannot provide enough power to run continuously. What the solar panels can do is, if we go out from here, round to English Harbour, put the anchor down, spend some time, put the aircon on, have a few drinks, and then come back here into Falmouth Harbour, we can do that completely on the solar panels.
Really? Everything?
Yeah.
Wow.
When you're doing 3,800 miles non-stop, it's not feasible. So people want to do a few things. They want to go, if they want to go somewhere a long distance, then they're going to need to run a generator. But sustainable in terms of what most people do, like all the yachts here, most of them aren't going to go very far. We talked about the BVIs. If you're in the BVIs, you'll do 4 or 5 miles a day and then get on a mooring buoy.
Oh, really?
So it's just sustainable at that level.
Yeah. So the enormity of it is pretty grand when you look at it from that perspective. Yeah. In general, did you find the crossing was smooth? Did you run into it?
It wasn't smooth from a waves point of view. It was a strange scenario because this is my 3rd crossing across the Atlantic, my first on a solar electric yacht, on a silent yacht.
Yeah.
And the waves were not oceanic. They were quite driven by wind and by other factors, sort of depressions further and high pressures further north. So it was a little bit uncomfortable, but in terms of the yacht, performed really well. But we prepared for it.
Yeah, I suppose there's a lot of things in the background before you even set off that you need to take into consideration.
Yeah, you cannot expect to take anything across an ocean passage without the right planning and experience.
Yeah, I just can't imagine how much goes into it. Even when you're on board, it's not like you could call somebody for help. You have to consider what you would do in those scenarios. And with it being electric and solar panelled, I suppose you would try and envision some of those scenarios and then, like we talked about, unplug and plug back in again.
Yeah, so it is electric, and we made the decision to show our followers what it's really like to cross the Atlantic. So none of the glossy photographs and all that. This yacht's perfect and everything's great, but we are really the only proper solar electric yacht company.
Wow.
Yachts, and we wanted to show how it was. So in the 5 weeks, what did we do? We welded one relay on the drive system. It took us 10 minutes to change it, and we've got spares. We knew what was. And on a couple of occasions, it had a little wobble, and it's just like a computer. Turn it off, turn it on again.
Yeah, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
So in general, because I know this is your 3rd one, why Antigua? Because you came from Gibraltar.
Came from Gibraltar to Lanzarote. We had to stop in Morocco because of the weather for a couple of days. Then down to Cape Verde, and then across. And Antigua's one of when I've been here many times, and I know it. So that was a sort of choice of where let's stop in Antigua, which is the first windward island that we got to, rather than going on to the British Virgin Islands. And the yacht's going to be here for a few weeks.
Nice.
We'll take it out of the water, re-anti-foul, and then It will then head to the British Virgin Islands where it's going to be on charter.
Lovely. So when you say no noise, there's nothing.
The water noise is what you hear.
Wow, that sounds so
And
peaceful.
Even when the generator is running, the generator is in a soundproofed enclosure. You don't feel it, you don't hear it.
Yeah, no, that's incredible. That is the way forward, isn't it? What about lighting and things? Because do you have to consider, because obviously you're crossing.
So the biggest drain on energy, other than the motors, is the air conditioning.
Right, okay.
So we had to manage the power, and we will turn off. It's like having an off-grid house. If you had an off-grid house, you turn everything off when you're not using it, and you have to do that on board our silent yachts.
Yeah.
But for most people would never cross the Atlantic. They will use one of these yachts to cruise around the Caribbean,
Yeah.
and do 3 or 4 hours cruising a day.
Yeah.
That's perfectly sustainable. Whereas every of the yachts here, they want the air conditioning running, have to run a generator.
And you have 4 cabins, don't you? You sleep 8?
We sleep 8, so we're 4 double cabins, all air conditioned, and we've got 2 crew cabins. So on charter, this can do 8 guests and 2 or 3 crew.
Yeah. What's the size?
So this is a 62 foot, so it's 62 by 29, so 19 meters by 9 meters.
Wow. All round solar panels, incredible.
Yeah.
What performance differences did you notice between this and a traditional yacht?
So a solar electric yacht can go as fast as a traditional displacement vessel, but we choose not to, because the faster we go, the more energy we use. So we always knew that this would be a slower trip across the Atlantic than a conventional motor yacht of 62 foot.
Yeah.
And if you consider that if this was driven by diesel engines, you'd be using 10 to 11,000 litres of fuel. And we haven't got the exact calculation. I would think we used about 4,000 litres of fuel.
Really?
So we're certainly less than half a conventional vessel.
Yeah.
And if we'd slowed down from 6.5 knots to 5 knots, we'd have used probably 1,000 litres less.
Yeah.
But we just wanted to get here.
Yeah, I know, get to until you
I was like, we've had enough. Let's get me off this yacht. Yeah, it is.
Do you have to manage the consumption, or do you just go about your day to day? And
when you leave, so we left Cape Verde full of fuel, and we are monitoring everything to make sure we have enough surplus to get across.
Yeah.
And you work normally on a 20% reserve in terms of fuel to be safe. That's a general scenario in yachting. We were down to about 8% at one time, which is still okay. But then you start managing the air conditioning and turning the lights off and things.
Yeah, so it's just like if it was a house
Absolutely.
or anything else, you just turn things off.
And then a week ago, we realised we've got plenty of fuel and we ran the air conditioning all the time.
Yeah.
As it got more humid.
Use it all.
Yeah.
As soon as you got into Antigua, you're like, oh.
Like, get the aircon on, yeah.
In terms of sustainability, what does this mean to you? Energy saving and all things like that. The way forward with the world. What are your thoughts on how good this will be?
It's sustainable. It's the most sustainable type of yachting you can ever do. And as the technology gets better in terms of the solar panel performance, the battery performance, and also what we are doing in terms of making the software and the operating system more efficient, it will become more and more efficient. And there's no other yacht that could get across the Atlantic using less fuel.
Yeah.
So for me, it's the silence and the lack of fuel.
Yeah. So that's important to you.
And our customers.
Yeah.
Our customers choose to be silent and sustainable.
Yeah, 100%. So I can imagine that there's a lot of challenges crossing. How was life on board in general? Do you have to do anything to keep you going?
It was great fun. We've got a good team. We're very lucky. We were watching the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. We're watching the Champions League football. So we've got everything with Starlink. No. But you have to set and focus into a situation where you know what you're going to be doing, and it's the same thing for 5 weeks.
Yeah, and like we were talking about, you have the things on board, you keep everyone's spirits up, and just go through the motions. Yeah. So thanks so much for having us on board today, Steve. This is the first time for me on anything solar powered in the water, and I know that the team that I've came with today is just as excited as me. So we're glad that you came in and allowed us to come and take a look.
That's fantastic. We've really enjoyed talking to you, and it's fantastic to show everyone here in Antigua what this yacht can do.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you. See you soon.